Every door's a story waiting to be told. Every key a new beginning to unfold. Find a place, find a home. Thoughts for rent, let's go.
Whoa, here we are again this week for another episode of Thoughts for Rent, Realtors Keeping It Real. I'm Max Zerfu, sales manager of the McKenna team at Keller Williams Realty, real estate guru, and the funniest man in real estate in Las Vegas. And this is
Jenni McKenna, but I want to know who titled you the funniest man in real estate.
the real estate division, the board.
Really? Yeah, I'd like to see those certificates.
All of those, or just me.
Gotcha. I'm Jenni McKenna, and I'm the owner-broker of McKenna Property Management, and together we're like a piece of a puzzle that just fits.
Thank you. Round peg,
No.
round hole.
Oh, I thought you were going to go with round peg,
We
square
joked about me
hole.
being the funniest man in real estate, but one thing I do one thing I'm proud of is that I try to keep it light, everything. So even in real estate transactions that can be very stressful for buyers and sellers and even realtors and escrow officers and lenders and everybody, I like to keep it light because we're not doing rocket science. We're just helping people buy their homes and stuff. So.
And that's one of the things I love. I love being able to hear you when you're on the phone. And, you know, a lot of times a buyer or a listing that's a seller, they are just really nervous about what could happen. You know, what if? There's a lot of what ifs in that conversation. And you're so good at keeping them calm, giving them the information of, no, this is normal. This is what to expect next. And I think that really, not only with your sense of humor, but your sense of being calm.
You're making me blush. You're embarrassing me.
Well, no, that's just the redness in your face, probably from your medication. Who knows?
Wait a second. HEPA.
So today I thought it would be fun. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts where they do questions and answers. So I would like to, if with your permission, interview you, Mr. Max.
When's the last time you needed my permission for anything?
When I went and bought something that was a little expensive, I had to have permission.
She doesn't need my permission.
I had to make sure that the money was in the account. So isn't that permission?
No, it's confirmation.
Oh, there you go. Confirmation. All right. Well, are you okay with that? Are you up for that?
Oh, bring it.
Max has no idea what questions I'm going to be asking him. So this is just something that I have seen in the past where it might be very useful to hear the answers coming from a real estate agent. So the first question I want to ask you, Max, how many years have you been in the real estate industry?
20 years.
Woo! Approximately, and I know you don't have the exact.
15 prior to that, as your husband saw and experienced almost everything as well.
True that. A lot of dinner talk pertaining to real estate.
Sure.
Approximately, we're not going to hold you to the exact number, but approximately about how many transactions do you close in a year?
I would say over the last 10 years, we've averaged about 75 a year.
And then 75 times 20, that's an awful lot of properties. Good for you.
Yeah, we've done some business. Yeah.
Good for you, Max. Okay, so my question starts off with, what is the one thing that you see that sellers do wrong?
Well, boy, that's a tough one because there's a lot. Well,
don't go big laundry list on me. Just go with, the one that you remember.
I'm kind of experiencing it lately as the market shifts. I think a lot of sellers, when they get offers, tend to be very, they get defensive about the offer because the buyer might be asking for a closing cost or the price isn't what they want. A seller will set their list price. We assist them with that. And they set their list price. And sometimes sellers think that's the price.
Okay.
And I think a big mistake is when you get offers for less than that, you start to adapt the opinion of, I've already come down, $20,000 from my original.
Okay.
And you have to remind them, well, that was our list price. That wasn't the sales price. It was never going to be the sales price unless the market warranted that. So you have to pull them back a little bit into reality and don't let them think from the get-go, I'm already getting screwed here.
Okay.
What you got is you got a nice offer, that isn't the price you want, but let's counter or let's work out, things that will make both sides happy and see if we can get into contract. Because getting into contract is not as easy as it used to be, or depending on the market. There's been good, bad over the last 20 years. Some markets you get an offer and it's a perfectly clean offer because there aren't that many homes in the market.
Right.
Now we're in a market where the buyers can be a little more picky, so we have to keep the sellers more grounded in their thoughts and their habits of accepting offers and negotiating.
So if I've heard you correctly, I think one of the things that might help a seller is don't be emotionally attached to whatever that asking price is.
No, don't get emotionally attached to anything and let your real estate professional explain it to you. Let them, ask them questions if you need to, if they're not getting that information to you, but let them explain to you the ins and outs of the offer and whether it's normal, whether it's standard in this market, so that you have a better sense of what you're working with. Because if you just take an offer and you're mad because the price is bad and you reject it, then now you're back to waiting 2 or 3 more weeks for another offer. So,
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, but really it's about the net at the end of the day. So an offer might come in and it might, because they didn't ask for certain things or repair addendums or the net might actually be a really good net, even if initially they didn't like whatever that purchase price was. Oh, I just knocked my little screen off.
You have to take all those things into account when you're looking at an offer and reviewing it with your realtor to make sure you know everything about it. Don't just look at the price and say, oh, forget it. Don't look at closing costs. Oh, they're asking for $10,000 in closing costs. Yeah, but still, that gets you a net of this, which is what we talked about. Or are you happy with that? Are you okay with that? And you work it out.
Love it. Here's another question for you. In the past, I have been told many a times, Jenni, because I remember I was in real estate before I became broker property manager. So I was told lots of times, I want an open house every weekend. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about open houses? Is that something that is a reliable source of buyers?
Well, don't get locked into this answer if you're living in Colorado or California or New York or somewhere else. I don't know how things work there. For me, an open house is a tool for a buyer's agent to gather more clients.
Okay.
Usually, that's the main function, I think, of an open house. Do open houses sell homes? Not really.
Okay.
Not in Nevada. People know about the house. They know about the price. It's online. You're not surprising anybody by holding an open house and saying, come look. You're making it convenient. But to me, an open house is not as important as setting the right price, making your house as presentable as possible, and making it easily accessible throughout the week, not just on one day.
Gotcha. All right,
I know realtors in Colorado that they list a house. This is years ago, so it might not be true anymore. But they prep the house, have an open house, and based on that open house, they usually have a couple offers by the end of the weekend.
Yeah, I heard that for California too. So I think Max is right.
And that's market specific.
Market specific. But in your world here in Southern Nevada, you would say to a seller, don't stress yourself out about getting the house ready every weekend for an open house.
No, I would say that. But if a seller wanted an open house, I would say we have a network of agents that we work with in our brokerage, over 600 agents in our marketplace, Keller Williams, the marketplace. And then we have buyers agents who want to do open houses. So if a seller wants an open house, we have agents that can do open houses. It's not going to be us. It's going to be someone who's more specialized in buyers.
Gotcha.
Somebody asked us once, well, who's representing me at the open house? If you're not there, who's representing me? Well, the fact of the matter is the house is representing itself.
Correct.
I don't have to be at an open house and say, hey, look at the staircase. Hey, look at the window. That's what buyers agents are trained to do and show homes. And I'm also of old school. Your dad was the first person who taught me how to show a house. I got all amped up. I got a buyer. Hey, this is 20 years ago. I was all excited. Hey, Tim, can you go out with me, with this buyer since it's my first time? He said, okay, sure. So we go to the first house and he opens the door and he goes, okay, there you go. Walk around, have a good look. Let me know what you think. That's it. I don't have a system, a plan. I don't have the script. But I've adapted that when I work with buyers, and it's better. You've probably gone to show a house where the listing agent is there.
It's weird. It kind of feels
Everybody's
weird.
Uncomfortable. Yeah. Like, what are you doing? Sometimes the sellers are even there. They want to walk.
Oh, yeah. So what I used to do is when I would come in and the listing agent or the seller was there, my job in my mind was to distract them, move them away from where my buyer could go look at the property.
That's good.
Because nobody wants to be, somebody directly watching over them, especially if it's a listing agent or the seller.
Sellers will ask you, hey, you want me to show you around? And I usually say, no, I think we're okay. Let us look at the house on our speed, and then if we have any questions, we'll ask you later.
That's a great way. Okay, here's another question for you. A lot of people are big into staging these properties that are for sale.
Why do you keep hitting it? Can you not? Is it too difficult for you not to get far enough?
You know what the thing is I like to use my hands.
You're not Italian. You're Irish. I don't know.
Well, Irish and Italians, we like to talk with our hands.
I don't know. I've never heard it about Irish.
I'm very expression.
Sorry,
I have lots of expressions. Yes. So staging. So what are your thoughts about staging? Is that a mistake made by a seller?
To stage it or not stage it?
To stage it. To spend the money to stage it.
Well, first of all, if you're a seller who occupies the property, then we need to walk you through how you need to prepare for showings. You know, when I wasn't in the business yet, I was still working in the entertainment industry, and we were on vacation in Oregon for Christmas. And Jenni, we were staying at a VRBO, early days, and the owner of the property was selling it as well. And we're there on vacation. We don't want to be bothered by someone coming to look at the house, but he called us, and Jenni, being the consummate professional and realtor, said, oh yeah, no problem, we'll show it. And we spent our vacation the next 3 hours prepping this house for showing it.
3 hours.
Oh my God.
It was only 3
candles,
hours.
Cookies, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, if you live in it, prepare it.
Yes.
Stage it the best you can. We have a list of things we'll advise you to do to show the property. If you don't live in the property, I think in Nevada, obviously there's different levels. A luxury home, maybe you stage it a little bit, but I'm still not sold on that. I think a buyer prefers to walk through a home that's empty and they can envision their own furniture, their own taste, their own design in the property, more so than having, some staging through. I mean, staging is so obvious anyway. It's not like it belongs to the house.
Right.
So I don't encourage staging. We don't do it. We will. Lately, we've been doing virtual staging on some of our photos. We'll show an empty living room, and then we'll have it virtually staged so that people can get a sense. But when people are walking through the property, my belief is a vacant home is more presentable.
Gotcha. So speaking along the terms of what a seller, shouldn't do.
So it's speaking in terms of or speaking along the line.
Oh, speaking.
Jenni mixes her euphemisms sometimes.
I do.
It gets a little. Okay, go ahead. No, I'm hitting the thing.
It's a good thing that you correct me.
Well, it's not. I'm
what
probably
would
not live on our podcast. I shouldn't be.
What would I do without you, Max?
I hit my thing. Is it okay? Should I adjust up there?
Well, make sure that your screen is in front of your microphone.
I got to get down here now.
When the property goes on the market, and this is for a seller, do you think you want to use the seller's photos, or do you prefer that you do what you need to do for your photos? Give me a little insight on that.
I've never had a seller offer to send me photos.
Oh, really? Okay.
So we take professional photos on all of our listings, and we use those. I wouldn't even think to ask the seller to provide photos.
Okay.
And if they told me they wanted to provide photos, I'd say, thank you. We'll take a look at those. And we're going to have the property professionally shot by a photographer. If some of your photos fit in, maybe we'll use them.
Gotcha.
That's usually where I go with that. Once there was a house that really looked good in the evening, and our photographer hadn't captured that, so they sent us some nighttime photos with the exterior lights, and we used some of those photos. Mostly our photos.
How about a sign in the yard? What are your thoughts on that, especially with flyers that are attached to the sign or to the sign?
You're dating yourself there.
Well, that's what my question is.
Box.
Like, what are you thinking? I have seen a couple flyer boxes around town, so that's my question.
Well, yeah, we obviously back in the day, McKenna team did signs, flyer boxes, all kinds of stuff. Now people will have signs with QR codes on them, where you can get the listing directly on your phone. Don't see a lot of flyer boxes. And the question is, do we have a sign? We're associated with McKenna Property Management. We list a lot of vacant properties because people are out of state. And depending on the neighborhood, I might suggest to the seller not to put a sign up, which is counterintuitive for me as a marketing standpoint, because Gary Keller said, get more signs out in the community. And I agree with that. However, if I have a house that's vacant in a community that maybe not be too desirable as far as safety goes, I will not put a sign up, because I think it basically says, hey, here's a house that might be vacant. Come enter the house.
Yeah.
If it's in a nice neighborhood, people are living there, I will say, put a sign up. I will always tell them, the sign really helps me out more than it helps you, because basically the price and the listing on the MLS and Zillow and Redfin and online realtor.com, those are where people are going to see the house. However, if it's in certain communities, the neighbors can be some of your greatest assistants. They can see the sign and go, "Hey, a property, 3 doors down from me just went on the market. You should come look at it." Or, "Hey, I know you guys were looking." So
Yeah. It's a good opportunity for the neighbors to pick their neighbor.
to summarize, sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
To summarize, always put a sign up unless you think it's going to be
A safety issue.
a safety issue. That's kind of my rule.
So now I'm a seller and I don't want a lockbox on my property.
Mhm.
How do you feel about that?
I don't like it at all.
Okay, tell me why.
3 things will sell a house.
Okay.
And it's not location, location, location.
What? That is the real estate rule. Location, location, location.
The
Come
3
on,
things
Max.
that sell a house are price,
Okay.
presentation, and accessibility.
Okay.
So that means price it right, make it look really good. So when people walk through the house, they're pleased and they want to consider it, and make it easy for people to get into. In Las Vegas, in Nevada, we got a thing called key any, which means the property is vacant. You can go at any time. You don't have to call me. You don't have to do anything. Just go to the house and see it at your convenience. We have electronic lock boxes that keep track of access. So I'm not worried about safety. I'm not worried about bad people getting into the house because I can keep track of that. So my goal is to always have the listing be key any if it's vacant, key any, and go and do whatever you want. And I always present that to my sellers. I want to make it as easy as possible for people to see this house.
But Max, I want to make sure that I know exactly who is coming over. So I need to have a 24-hour notice before anybody views my property.
If you're living there.
If I'm living there.
Well, the 24-hour notice is great. I would not recommend that. I would say let's go for 2 hours. Let's go for, and they can come to me first and I can text you. The best thing to do, though, if you're living in the house and you need to be notified, well, you need to be notified if someone's coming over. If you live there, we can't do key any.
Okay.
Because we have to monitor, you don't want people showing up when you're in the shower, what have you.
Right.
I will encourage the seller to give me their cell phone. We'll put that in the listing, and any buyer's agent will text that number or call that number and say, "I want to come by at 2 tomorrow. I want to come by in 3 hours," and let them be the decider. I want them to be proactive about selling their house. And the best way to do that is to cut out the middleman, me, and say, "Hey, when you're available. So when someone calls you, you tell them, yes, come on over. I'm ready for it," and make it as easy as possible. Sellers ask me, "Well, should I sit in the backyard? Should I take the dogs for a walk?" I said, anytime there's a showing, the best thing you can do is get in the car and leave.
Yeah, just go down to the park, right? Take the dog to the park.
If you want, I can have the agent tell me when they're done, and I'll let you know to go back. And I've shown houses where the sellers do that. They take their car and they leave, and then when my buyers and I are walking out, you see their car, they're across the street waiting to go back into their house. But no, don't go with the whole, "Oh, my agent has to show it. I have to be there." It puts a damper on easy showings, which I think is really important. People have very expensive houses, luxury items, and they have expensive items in there. And I get that. They might want to make sure that I'm there watching the buyers, but it just makes the buyers uncomfortable. I knock on wood. I've been doing this for a long time. I don't know of anything that's been taken from a home that's occupied or has stuff in it. So sellers, don't get all caught up with, "Oh, I got to make sure I know who's going through my house." Just tell your realtor, "Let them come. Let's go. Come on.
And I'm assuming that you would always advise your seller that you don't leave money on the counter. You put things that are, of a lot of value, sentimental value or real value. Just put them in a box. You're going to be moving it anyways.
I'm not as good as you as stating the obvious and telling people what they should already know. So I don't tell them that very often, but you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. If you're a seller and you're selling your house and people are going to be walking through it, then if you don't want something to get taken, don't leave it out.
I remember one story, and then I'll have one more question for you. I remember where there was a very risque painting of the seller's wife.
Okay.
And it's a beautiful photo, but I mean, it was in their primary bedroom. It was, you'd have to be going into the bedroom. Yeah. And so I said what I said, and I'm like, anything that you don't want, a potential buyer to see in your property, just make sure that you remove it or, put it in the garage behind some boxes, and nobody's going to be going through all that. I actually thought that's what they would remove because I thought, well, they may not want it. They left it up.
Proud.
And that house was actually known to the buyer's agent as the Risque Painting House. So
Did it sell?
it did sell. It sold. But it was always funny because every time I would get feedback from the buyer's agent, they've shown 5 or 6 houses. And so they would have to go through their head. And then they would say to me, oh, wait, that's the one with the picture in the primary bedroom. And I'm like, yeah, that's the one.
Talking along lines of, people wanting to know who's going to their house. We've had vacant homes that people are out of state, the sellers, but they have Ring cameras.
Mm.
And if someone's out of state and the inspection's planned, normally we're not quick to tell the seller, hey, there's an inspection going on tomorrow at noon.
Right.
Well, an inspector went to a property we had vacant here, and we hadn't told the seller the inspection was happening yet. And the seller saw someone approaching their house, and they got on their Ring thinking, hey, who are you? What are you doing?
Scared the inspector to death.
And then the buyer's agent called me and says, hey, your seller just got mad at my inspector for going to the property.
Yeah.
So new technology changes things and changes how things are done.
Well, and speaking of new technology, are you ever going to be open to self-showings for buyers, or are you going to have your buyers always be accompanied by a buyer's agent?
Oh, always accompanied.
At this time you are?
I don't know. I mean, I know in rentals there's self-showings. Do they exist in sales? I don't even know.
I thought that there was a company out there. I think it was called Purple something, that you could get the code and then the buyer could go in and actually.
Those were all vacant homes, though.
Okay.
Those were ones that they were flipping. Purple Door.
Yeah, but they still offered self-showings to those buyers, right? So in your
world,
I'm
not an institutional flipper like that, so it would be different. If the property is occupied by the owner or it's vacant and it's an individual owner, then you should have an agent go through.
Gotcha.
Absolutely.
All right. All righty. Well, those are some pretty good answers to those questions, Max Zerflu.
I can't vent on inspectors one more time.
Go for it.
I know we had a whole episode on it, but I'm dying over the request for repairs we're getting from some of these people.
Yeah.
We got a request for repairs that had 51 items on it.
Yeah.
What people are doing is they're having the home inspected, the home inspector to do his job and justify his existence. And I'm not saying you shouldn't have a home inspected. It's important to know if something's wrong with the home. But they'll put every little hooby-looby on here, everything.
Everything.
This is an older house. It's got a pool.
Yep.
And you know how pools have steps into the pool.
Yes.
So there's no handrail to hold on to when walking into the pool. Right. But if I'm a buyer's agent, I should read that and go, well, that's okay.
Yeah, I saw the pool the way it is, and I like it.
The house is built in 93. I can't ask the seller to install that. That would be what a common sense agent would do.
Right.
What agents do lazy, they take the entire inspection report, and when they get it, there's a button that says, prepare a repair request for all items, and they just push that, and then out she goes. And
do you think that's because, I know I agree with you, it could be a little bit about lazy, but it could also be that the world that we live in is, just sue everybody. It's a sue happy world. So maybe the agent doesn't want to make those decisions on what should and should not be on the repair request.
Yeah, you got to advise. You got to discuss it, advise. You got to tell your client they're in a contract. They've given up their earnest money. They're hoping to buy a home.
Yeah.
You have to say to them, let's not piss off the seller and ask for the whole house to be rebuilt.
Yeah.
Let's have some common sense. You have to do that.
How do you handle that with sellers when the sellers get this big 2-page 51 item report?
They're usually shocked.
Yeah.
And I say, why don't you just reject it?
Okay.
Why don't you just reject it and say, in this case, we rejected it. Well, we said, we'll give you $1,000. And this included, there was an inspector had some notes about some water coming from upstairs.
Okay.
I've had 2 plumbers go over there and we can't see anything
wrong. Okay.
The buyer's agent and the inspector say that's water damage and it's got to be fixed. I'm like, oh my God. So we're still in the middle of that. But we sent back a 51 item request. We sent back, we'll give you $1,000 in credit.
Okay.
And we move on. They countered back with 5 items.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So they actually did their due diligence then and figured out the 5 items that actually make sense.
Well, what happens is you reject it. They go back to their client, the buyer's agent does, and says, well, they rejected it. And they go, well, we really just want this done.
Ah.
And then they send back a request for the things that they actually want to have done.
That makes sense.
Maybe we could have done that the first time and cut out some time.
Maybe you are on the correct line of maybe the buyer's agents.
Whether I'm right or not?
The buyers might be lazy. I kind of went.
Agents.
Yeah, the buyer's agents might be lazy.
I know people that work in our brokerage that's their plan. Let's ask for everything.
Oh.
And see what they say.
Well, okay.
So there's 2 sides of the coin,
yep.
obviously. But when I have a buyer, I don't say, let's ask for everything. I say, hey, listen, we got this price at this house. It's built in, in 94. Let's just be selective in the things that we care about. By the way, these other 10 items that you wanted to have fixed, handyman could knock those out in a couple hours for $300.
If it really matters to you.
Yeah.
Because how many times do you move into a house and say, oh, I want to get that fixed. I want to get that fixed.
Oh, man.
10 years later,
No.
we go to the property to list it for sale and those same items haven't
Let's
been
say
fixed.
you give a credit to a buyer because the seller's like, well, I don't want to worry about fixing them. Now here comes liability. Did I fix them properly? Now 2 months from now, am I going to get a call saying, so you give a credit for $2,000, $3,000, and then the buyers take that credit, use it for their closing costs and everything because it's all tied into escrow. Do you think they go after the fact and fix all the things that?
No, they decide what's most important and they just do it from there.
They live there for a year and go, oh yeah, that's
I better go take care of that.
So,
all right.
Yeah, inspectors kill me. It kills me.
Well, I'm
going to move
glad.
on. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be happy.
I'm glad you got to vent a little bit about inspectors because it is true. This market right now, it's like those inspectors are just noting the silliest, most ridiculous things. So I'm on the same page with you. All right. Well, we're 25 minutes in, Max.
You do a great interview. I got to be honest with
Thank
you.
you.
I'm pretty good.
You have some
subject.
You have some good answers, and hopefully somebody out there is, thinking about maybe listing their property, and this is definitely helpful for them. Or they're a seller right now, having to endure some of the things that you have to do when you put your house on the market. So, good job, Max. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Market's picking up a little bit here, heating up. We got a lot of listings, a lot of things in escrow. So McKenna team is killing it again in 2026.
No doubt. I have no doubt.
And we love this podcast. We love that we can do it. We love that you are watching and listening to it. And we hope you will definitely subscribe if you haven't already. Hope that you'll share it.
Yep.
And hope that you'll give us feedback. Our email address is Max or Jenni at McKennaTeam.com and say, hey, I watched the podcast. You guys suck, or you guys you're insightful, whatever it is, we want to hear it, right?
Yeah, they might even have an idea of what we should be talking about. So if you've got something that you want to hear from either myself or Max, let us know. We'll be happy to do a show around it.
We care. I don't know why I just said that, but it's true. It's true.
Looked at yourself in that.
Hit the number. I didn't look at go to my vein. I got a client who says I'm really vain. Am I vain?
I don't think so.
Just really good looking.
Oh.
Okay. Hit the button. Have a great time. We'll see you next time on Thoughts for Rent. Oh, there you go. Sound good? Okay, good. I'll pass over to Ireland. Here you go, kid.
Thanks, Pops.